I'm glad every one of y'all could make it. We're gonna have a great speaker today. Her name is Grace Eagle Reed, and y'all are gonna enjoy this as much as I am. So I'm gonna open up with our prayer and then we'll get started. Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day. We ask that all of our hearts connect and open for the messages that are going to be received today. Bless each and every single one of us and bless the planet and just send out unconditional love and comfort to everybody that needs it. In your name, own Father. Amen.
Well, how about if I offer the song that was given to me soon after I met your father?
That would be awesome. That
All
would
right.
be awesome.
I'm going to have to, I was going to. In the 70s, I met Wallace Black Elk, Great Spotted Eagle, Potawatomi, Winnebago, Medicine Man, Don Perot, Rolling Thunder, her father, Jaime Storm. All of these medicine people came in to Los Angeles in the 1980s, and literally saved our lives. We who are we're called Métis, but we're part Native and part, in my case, Dutch. My mother's Dutch, my father's Salagi, Qualabani, North Carolina, from my grandmother. And we were totally deprived of our culture. But there was always that native side in me that was screaming to get out, and there was no way to get it out. And these people came in to a big healing circle that we had set up in Los Angeles. I was in Van Nuys, California, and they gave us permission to be a native. And I was adopted by Grace Spotted Eagle, Wallace Black Elk, and named Grace Growing Medicine. And then Eagle Reed came later, and that's Eagle Reed, the eagle that brings the reed. That's what that is. Anyway, so this is a drumming song that was taught to me by Potawatomi, Winnebago, Don Perot. And it's 2,500 years old. And it's a design. It's a drumming that is designed to open your heart. And I'm going to present my medicine feathers. And I'll just tap on the yo hey I yo hey I do yo hey I yo hey I do yo hey I yo hey I hey I hey I do yo hey I hey yo hey I do yo hey I yo hey I do yo hey I yo hey I yo hey I yo.
Beautiful.
And that's part of what your father brought in. So this is about, and I'll just tell my story. So that's all I have. In 1979, I bottomed out from drugs and alcohol with a gun to my head and pulled the trigger. And the gun didn't go off because it wasn't loaded correctly. It was a clip that had to go up in a German Luger. And I was too drunk and too stoned to shoot my head off. That was my bottoming out from ultimate darkness. The darkness in me that was just nothing but pain from a very bad childhood, a very abusive childhood, being ripped from my culture. I was totally lost. And that was in my early 40s. And that emotional pain produced something in me that wouldn't allow me to live anymore. And what I've got to do is put this radio off. Can I go over there?
Yes.
I forgot I had that on.
That's okay.
But please just close your, what I'd like for everybody to do is close your eyes and absorb that song, because it's designed to open your heart, and just meditate on what that song did for your heart. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna get myself in position here. Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I have to, I'm rolling around in my wheelchair, and I tweaked my knee, so I'm not walking.
Oh, bless your heart.
Right. I'm rolling around in my wheelchair, and I just bounced us, didn't even spill a drop of rose petal tea. So see, isn't that cool?
Yes.
So anyway, that's how I bottomed out. And so I know about emotional pain. And so I've got 43 years of sobriety through AANA program and through the medicine path. I'm in the Wellbriety medicine movement for alcohol and drug addiction. And that is the native path for that. So anyway, that's my qualification for knowing what it's like to have emotional pain. Hello. I want to give you a picture. This is what I looked like when I was.
Oh.
Kind of look. I mean, I'm almost 80, and I'm still a pretty good looking old fart, but that was me. And that's what I look like when I met your father, Rolling Thunder, for instance.
Gotcha.
And they came in and they said, nope. Jaime Storm particularly came in. He wrote Song of Seven Arrows and so on. And I don't know, I'm old enough. I don't know if there's anybody around that even remembers any of these people, because it's quite, you know them. And we were so lucky that they came in and taught us and allowed us to have a pipe, for instance. They taught, in my case, Lakota pipe is part of my culture, my adopted parents' culture, grandparents' culture. Anyway, so emotional pain. And so my journey has been to find out who I am and why I'm on this earth and what I'm here to do. So in essence, it's what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And if I use that structure, then I can make some sense out of the time I have here. I want to tell a story about Tahawen's father, Rolling Thunder. He indeed, when he showed up, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was Van Nuys, California. It was never hardly rains there. Wasn't a cloud in the sky. And there was this big thunderstorm. We knew Rolling Thunder was on his way. That's thunder followed this man when he would approach. And he was a feisty guy. He was kind of a grouchy, feisty guy. He was just real, yeah, well, whatever. He was sort of like that. he just got on with whatever the heck he came there to do. And he wasn't that approachable because, he was going through a lot of his pain. But the point is, he was very, powerful medicine man. And what he did, though, was he kind of grounded people in a practical way. And I had a camper at the time, and we had just been given the pipe, and I was making a pipe bag, and I had the pipe laying on top of the pipe bag, and I didn't know at that time what to do with the pipe. I had a Micmac clay pipe with the pipe stem and all that. And we were just being educated about that by Jaime Storm and all of these people. So there were a series of seminars and whatnot that taught us how to do all that. Okay, so I had my pipe laying out on the, and I was in a camper. The door was closed, and I was getting ready to come out and join these medicine people. We were to sit with them, we who were being taught. We were their apprentices, I guess you could say. And Rolling Thunder came walking in, and we could hear this big thunderstorm, and everybody was like, what the heck? Because, it wasn't a cloud in the sky. But the medicine people knew that Rolling Thunder was on his way. And he came by my camper, and I was just opening the door to come out to join the group. And he said, "You're not supposed to have a pipe out like that. Put it back in your bag." He knew, he just knew stuff. And I looked at him and I went, "What?" And he said, I didn't even know who he was at that point. And he said, "Put the pipe back in the bag. It doesn't belong out there all exposed." He said it just like that. It was this grouchy old guy. He wasn't that old at that time. I guess we're about the same, he and I were about the same age at that time. Anyway, so that was my first exposure to Rolling Thunder. And I thought you guys would enjoy that story. I got his daughter here. And then Andy Mack in Chicago got us connected. And then this is how I'm here. As far as emotional pain, and I'm going to be sending this, I do these little booklets called spirit books. And this one's coming to you soon, but I wanted to go through it because this is me at a later date when I was doing a talk like this one. So what I have discovered is human beings are born to suffer. I very closely follow the Buddhist path as well. So red path, I received my spirituality a day at a time through AANA path the native path, and then Baha'i and Buddhist. So by the time I'm done with pulling that all in, I have become the spiritual person that I am today, and I am known as a medicine woman these days. And that was because that's what I was trained to do and endorsed, if you will, okayed, if you will. And believe me, you don't want that title, because you see the darkness in you. The darkness does not come from out here. You can't throw any darkness at me. You can be nasty and mean, and you could be critical, and it will affect me, but you can't affect my soul. I'm the only one that can affect my soul. I was born to be here for a very, very short period of time on Mother Earth to suffer. Now that's going to sound like what? But if you've noticed, that's what you're doing, right? Everybody suffers. And I wanted to, and the reason for that is because the darkness is just as sacred as the light. There is only light and love. That is the only reality there is in the spiritual world. There's only light and love. But we humans, if we're untrained and we don't embrace our spirituality and do what we're doing here, take part in connecting with each other and talking it out, we will stay in a certain amount of conflict. Nonviolent communication says we are in tragic expression of unmet needs. And when you're in tragic expression of unmet needs, until you get those needs met, you're just going to be in tragic expression of unmet needs. So talks like this, and I really appreciate you inviting me to this, and thank you for having this, my dear daughter.
I love you.
So here's a poster that I love, and I'll read it to you. And this is kind of the base of who we are as humans. And if you don't know who you are, and you don't know that the darkness in you is just as sacred as the light in you, and the darkness is there to keep bugging you and bugging you and bugging you and whispering in your ear, you're not good enough, you're never going to be good enough, nothing's ever going to be good enough, you're just this teeny little nothing, go drink, go drug, go kill yourself, whatever. Go ahead and just suffer. And if you don't honor that darkness and know, so the missing link there is that darkness is there to drive you and drive you and drive you to a higher state of love and light. So the darkness is sacred. And in fact, Rolling Thunder was that was his medicine to pull the darkness. He was Hyoka, and he would pull this darkness in. And when everybody else was talking about love and light, he'd say, yeah, well, what about the darkness? You know, and he would go in the opposite direction. So that I learned that from him. So you think of yourselves, and this is called the group. I've had this poster for a long time. You think of yourselves as humans searching for a spiritual awakening, when in fact you are spiritual beings attempting to cope with a human awakening. Seeing yourself from the perspective of the spirit within will help you to remember who you came here and what you came here to do. And that's our reality. And if you don't know that, you're just going to suffer needlessly. And so that's kind of the bottom line. Now wait, no, I'll just go out and have tea, because that's it. No, let me press on. So there's only light and love. But if you will look at the darkness in you that's pushing you with all those memories of when you were, I don't know what everybody's emotional state is, but I don't know of a human being that isn't in some tragic expression of unmet need, and you have to find your need. And I would go to nonviolent communication, and it's free and it's online, and I used to teach it. I have a master's degree. I actually have a PhD from Europe in homeopathic medicine. I have a master's degree in conflict resolution, restorative justice, a BA in drama therapy, and an Associate of Arts in addiction therapy. And I worked for Fairbanks Native Association for many years as an addiction counselor. So I'm very well educated. And my student debt got wiped out. That was a miracle. That was the magic of the Obama administration. That student debt just got wiped out. Because, I mean, you talk about, see, miracles. And the darkness in me was always, oh, I'm never going to, I hate debt. And I'm never going to pay this off. And burden, you know. The darkness comes up and it wants to put your light out. And in 1979, it did put my light out. It extinguished the light and love in me. And I only had one place to go, and that was a suicide attempt. So that's why I started that way, because it's real. Emotional pain is real. If you don't take care of it, then it will drive you to insanity. There's only one place if you don't honor the darkness and honor the light in you. And that's all we have to do. We don't have much to do. And if we get really busy about, oh, how do I become a better human? And how do I do this? And how do that? And there's about 40,000 million ways to do it. And all paths are at one thing. And there's only one race, the human race, and there's only one path, you know, but the medicine wheel talks about the many paths to the middle, which is the Great Spirit. I call my God the Great Mystery Power. Something great's going on, something powerful's going on, something mysterious is going on. What else do we need to know?
That's very good.
Keep it simple, for heaven's sakes.
Yes.
Again, her father's training. Keep it simple. There is only light and love. Darkness is only the absence of light. That's all it is. But it is inside of us. Darkness kills light. We let it. There's only love and light. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Again, the group's message. Why are we here on planet Earth for a very short time? I went up and when I was in California, I went up and touched a Joshua tree when you could go into Joshua Tree National Forest. And I don't think they let you near any of these things anymore. It was also in Stonehenge in England. I traveled all over the world sharing a Hopi prophecy, blessed by the Hopi people. And touched a Joshua tree, and it was 1,000 and some years old. And I'm sitting there going, and I'm only in at that point, about 35 before I bottomed out. And I was still drinking and drugging. And I sat there and I thought, that tree is still alive 1,000 years later, and I'm going to die at I figured about, well, you know, I'm a kid of the 60s, so I was a hippie, and I was thinking, we figured we were going to die about 45, 50.
Right.
we didn't think we were going to live very long. And here I'm almost 80, and, you know. But see, that's the deal. And I got a lesson from that tree. So Mother Earth taught me, hey, wake up, gal. You're only here for this very, very short period of time. So why? Why don't I live 1,000 years? And not that I would want to, but. So I really thought that out, and I went home, and it was part of the medicine coming in and starting to work with me, because even when I was drinking and drugging, the medicine was working with me. You know, love and light and great mystery powers never, not for a second are you left to yourself, not for a second. So don't be afraid of your light. But when you are in light and love, there's a tremendous responsibility. Tremendous responsibility. The lighter you are, the more the darkness will come up and say, nah, it's okay. You don't need to be that light. And the lighter you are, the less you get by with criticizing, judging, cheating, lying, stealing, all of that. You don't even get to be unkind in a grocery store line. You don't get to be unkind when you're in a car and you're in traffic. Everybody's bugging the crap out of you and you're out there in road rage. You don't get to be any of that. The lighter you are, the more you're required to be kind, loving, and kind, because people are screaming for kindness right now. The world is falling apart right now for a reason. It's bottoming out like any good addict would. And the world is flipping to pure light and love. And that's what's coming at us, actually. I mean, there is no such thing as, this is my experience now. I'm just sharing my experience. There's no such thing as hell. Heaven and hell are in you, dark, light. So you see, I don't even get to be bitchy on the street in my big old red wheelchair here, my big old red buggy. When somebody's at the handicap ramp and I'm going, can you move? There's a light there. Can you move on? There will be a twinge of, I used to say to people, excuse me, but I'm coming through, which is arrogance, right?
Right.
And as I got lighter and lighter and lighter and more educated in spiritual awareness, which is really what we're all about here, it became apparent that I could no longer say, excuse me, we're coming through, I'm coming through. It's my ramp, get off my damn ramp. So the lighter you are, the less of that crap you get to do. So don't get, just be light, but that's really what it's about. Because when we all pass, we're going to pass. So any kind of darkness in you that's winning, in other words, the darkness is designed to drive you more and more to spiritual awareness. And if you didn't let it do its job, so bless the darkness in you, bless the suffering, because its job is to make you more spiritual. But if you don't pick up on that piece and you don't become more spiritual as a result of the gift of darkness, then when you do pass, and we will all pass, which is our reality, then you will pass with whatever was left behind, and you have to learn it in the next kingdom. And the reason I know that is because I have a very dear friend, Renee Passerelle. She has passed finally. Anybody know Renee Passerelle's work?
I don't.
She was Salagi Native, full-blooded Cherokee or Salagi. It's called Salagi. She died when she was 16 years old from, she was allergic to herself. And she was gone for 45 minutes, and she was in the morgue with the toe tag, and her mother, and I was in her life at this time, and her mother, Lou Fay Fender, my friend, called and said, my daughter just died. And of course, we're all, doing what we do. And she says, I'm not letting my daughter die. She was just this tough Native woman, right? So she called a country doctor that they were working with, and they went to the morgue, and he broke a couple of ribs getting her back. He got her back after 45 minutes of being gone. You don't think there are, see, we don't we don't know half of what we think we know about miracles. You know, when you're told to expect a miracle, well, we are miracles, number one. We're God's kids doing God's work if we will allow that to happen. But see, the deal is if you allow the crap in your head to go, well, I'm not good enough, I'm never be good enough, and it's never going to happen, and I'm too tired, and the bills are too much, and whatever. And you won't be experiencing the miracle that you are. And I've had so many miracles happen. I've seen so many miracles. I've seen so many, and they're labeled miracles, but they're really reality. Our reality is just amazing. The lighter and the lighter you become, the more that energy, and we're talking about energy here, the more of that pure love light energy will come through you. But it doesn't come through you, so you can sit here and go, well, I'm 43 years sober and I'm a medicine woman, so you may now bow and kiss my ring. No, please, not even. Don't even think it, because, I worked my ass off to get where I am, and I suffered horribly to get where I am. And I didn't ask for a bit of this. Things just started happening, and things started coming to me, and I would find myself in places where I was invited to, let's see, let me read. See, I don't know how much time we have.
We have plenty of time. We don't have to get off of here until 10:30.
Okay. The darkness in us lies. It says there is no light in love. We are at a point of choice at that point. Choose light, love, kindness, and peace. And that's basically where we are all the time. And Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, who brought in nonviolent communication, I would highly recommend that everybody take a course in nonviolent communication, because it really changes the way you communicate with people. Because it puts all of us in a one human race pile, and it says, oh, now I know you're in tragic expression of unmet need. That when you're talking to me like grouchy, or you're coming at me in a certain way, then I can take a breath and center and go, oh, I know where you're coming from. And my compassion comes in. Compassion comes in when you know people are in tragic expression of unmet needs. So,
And who does that? It's nonviolent communication. Is that what you said?
NVC, nonviolent communication. I would highly recommend that you go and pick that up. And what he said, and this is one of the images, and you'll get the spirit book, but here's one of the images that you'll get. This is on your way, hon, and then you can share it. Energy images are the main reason conflicts don't get resolved. Enemy images. There are no enemies. This whole world is based on money is more important than people. Let's keep people in poverty. You are my enemy. Bang, 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 bang. Russia, Ukraine. There's never been a time the human race hasn't been on this planet where there hasn't been war. Conflict and war and conflict. And that's Native nations too. It's not like we were sitting back there, the Lakota would ride in and raid, the Shawnee and so on. I mean, everybody did it to everybody at this point. The only innocence there is little babies that are born, and animals, and the Mother Nature and her trees and her birds and her wildlife and stuff, and trees and stuff. That's the only innocence there is. Because our greed keep me from the danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, and foolish decisions. I'm in danger when I'm in any of those places, and that's all emotional stuff. And if I act out on it, and there are some leaders of countries that have decided to act out on it ever since my grandparents and my parents came from World War I, World War II. And then when I was born in 1943, there was nothing but this war and that war and the other war and this war and that war, and we're still at war. We're still at war. But Mother Earth has had it. She's done with us. She's seriously done. Nope, no more. And she'll wipe us off the planet if we don't do something. Well, by saying that, I can't stop the war in Ukraine. Can you? See what I mean? And you do what you can, and you do what you can in the arena that you find yourself in. Prayer, meditation, any kind of action, paying it forward, etc. We know what to do if we're spiritual beings. I can hardly do anything. I'm pretty powerless over just about everything I touch when you think about it. But the one thing that you can do is understand the nature of your darkness and the nature of your love and light within you. Eliminate anything that's interfering with that sacred gift of the darkness in you that drives you closer and closer to the love and light. And the ultimate light is going back to the kingdom we came from. There. That's the kingdom we came from. So we are children of, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Good luck with that. Very difficult. Very difficult. I went to the grocery store the other day and I got some groceries, and I drive. I can't walk very well. I have MS and all kinds of other things, and I'm 80 and I have arthritis and all kinds of shit. And I said, okay, I went to the grocery the other day, and we have a heat wave here, so I thought, well, I've got to get to the grocery early and da-da-da. And I came home and I was putting my stuff away in my refrigerator and stuff, and I turned around and tweaked my knee. I heard pop, and I went, oh my God, in the pain. And now I can't walk. Now I just had an MS episode about 4 months ago, and I was in a lot of pain, and I woke up and I sat up and I couldn't move my legs. And I went, oh crap, this is going to change everything. And I thought, well, now here's what I'm saying. I could have gone very dark because I was afraid. Because fear is part of, there's a danger in excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, foolish decisions, but it is part of who we are. And so I had a fear, oh my God, what am I going to do now? Well, I'm well plugged in. If you don't know your neighbor and you don't have any friends, grab a bunch of people that even think about caring for you, because you're going to need them. Yeah. And I got a pretty good network of folks that care about me, really care about me, and love me for that matter. And I love them back. They're called, we're humans, and we're supposed to be we're tribal,
Right.
And and I called my friend Marianne, who is my advanced directive person, and she's just a sweet, beautiful young woman. And she came, and she's my adopted daughter. And she said, she came down, and a whole bunch of people showed up at my place. I live in downtown Portland in a 1-bedroom apartment. And they all arrived, and they got me tea, and they made me comfortable, and da-da-da. And then about an hour later, my legs started moving, and I went, thank you, thank you, thank you. Right?
Right.
But I could have gone, you see, at times like that is when I could have gone very, very dark And, you know, or I just was challenged. And I knew it was the darkness. Something dark is going on here that's challenging me to make a choice, because I'm always at a point of choice. We are always at a point of choice as to what we want to do with our spiritual development. And I could have gone very, very dark, and I could have gone very, very semi-dark and gray area. There's always that gray area. It's okay to be a human and have fear, but to act out on it, be all panicky, and to do inappropriate things, you know. So little by little, I came out of that, but my walking, MS has a situation where your walking gets worse. You never get better when you have, it takes you down little by little. So my walking became so bad that I couldn't walk on my own. I had to have a walker, canes, this wheelchair, but I could still walk. And you know how important it is when you can still walk and you got to go to the bathroom, right?
Right.
Kind of a human thing we can all get behind, can't we?
Yes. I definitely can get behind it.
And you can't go to the bathroom, or when you have to go to the bathroom and you can't walk. Hello.
Yeah, that's really tough. I was in a wheelchair. I don't know if you're aware that I was in a wheelchair for almost 3 years because of my legs. So it was quite the experience for me. And you're correct. You have to struggle, and I did. I struggled with the darkness, you know, about if I was ever going to be able to walk again. And I chose that I was going to walk. It didn't take me a while to get back to where I could walk. Yes, it did.
You're always at a point of choice with that. So, you know, it's to be free of our dark, to be free of our ego, our selfish, self-centered, selfish ego. Be very careful of that, because it's very tricky. You don't know when you're in ego state. Some people, we have a very good example in our country. We had a president here that was pure ego. And such a good example of what ego and the lack of power is our dilemma. So if you don't think you're powerful and you want to be powerful and you're full of ego and selfishness and self-centeredness and insanity, and you're coming strictly from your dark space. We had a very good example, which is still kind of being influenced by this poor, unfortunate. And if a lot of people hate this person, of course that's the wrong thing to do, because you're not good. That just put your light out a little bit if you hate somebody. Who am I to hate anybody? I'm not God. You know. So here's where compassion comes in. And I've learned a lot through the Buddhism with compassion. And I would look at this poor, dark, insane soul who was really messing our country up. Damn near lost our democracy. And here's the deal. All the hate speech and all the stuff on media and all of that, you know, we get influenced by that. And especially when, you know, you're a loving being and you don't want that kind of thing to be happening, and the guy you voted toward didn't get in, or the gal, in my case, you didn't, you know, didn't get in, and, you know, all that stuff. That's tricky, because the only enemy response that I had in my mind was, that is not an enemy. That's, this soul is in dire need of compassion and enormous prayers, and still is. And they'll be very careful of what we do with stuff like that comes at us all the time from the outside. So kindness and love and light will free us, and be free. And it's just be free. Choose freedom, because freedom, and I'll read this little piece. Always show more kindness than necessary, because the person receiving it needs it more than you think they need it. For instance, we don't know what our kindness will do to literally save people's lives. So to be compassionate and kind at all times. The lighter you are, the more you have to be compassionate and kind at all times without being a saint. And that is hard enough to be compassionate and kind at all times. At all times. And believe me, I fail all the time. And I'm glad I'm not a saint. Because what happens to our saints, let's just use the popular one, Jesus Christ. All of the saints, all of the holy souls that brought a spiritual peace book, that would be every saint, every soul that was chosen by great mystery to come to this earth to teach us to be peaceful and kind to one another, so we could up our light game. And what do? We take their book, we read it, and we go, oh, yay, and we follow them, and we make a big deal out of it, and then we get all busy, and we put our words in between their lines, and we produce about 40,000 Bibles instead of the original one, which we probably don't even know what it is, etc. And we make a big deal out of it, which is inserting our ego and our power, and then we kill that person. We kill every soul chosen by the great mystery who has come, and that would be White Buffalo Calf Woman. That would be all of the ancient unknowns, all of the ancient unknowns. There's so many ancient religions that we know, but there are many ancient unknown spiritual paths which became a religion. Religion is one thing. Spirituality is another. Religion is a place you go to learn how to be spiritual. It's like a school. That's a religion. Spirituality is what you're born with. And your religion can pull your spirituality down, by the way. So you got to be very careful of that. But ego. So, so be free of that, because the kinder you are and the more you're free of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, foolish decisions, and all of that, the freer you are in your soul, in your life. And my daughter disappeared. I mean, there are about, in 80 years and in the 43 years I've been sober and clean, I could tell you so many stories that I should have gone and just drank and drugged and killed myself. And the one that really challenged me was this: my daughter disappeared. Don't know where. She's not a drugger or an alcoholic, none of that. I had a message from her. She said, Mom, I'm going off the grid. I've got a group of people, I'm going off the grid. She was just a sweet, we were in close connection with one another. And she's an educated person and in love with Mother Earth and all of that. And she called me one day, but she wasn't doing well in society as it is. She was a very private person. And she said, Mom, this is something I've been looking for all my life. And I'm going off the grid for 1 year, so you will not have contact with me for 1 year. But when I get back, I'll contact you. So I'm going, okay. Of course, there's some concern as a mother, right? But didn't know who she was going with. Didn't ask, she didn't tell me. She was an adult at that time. And that was only 5 years ago. And I have not heard from her since. Now I had I didn't hire a detective to go run her down. Number one, I can't afford that. Number two, that would not be the proper way to do that because she's an adult and she gets to do whatever she wants to do. It's her path, her life. But as a mother, you don't think the first year there was concern. She didn't show up the second year, and I was crazy. I was frantically, mother, you don't do that to a mother, okay? You who are mothers, you're frantic, you're worried, you're like, what the hell's going on? And that was where I would turn to Great Mystery Power on a regular basis and say, what the hell are you doing? You're all powerful, you're all knowing, you're all wise. Could you please tap my kid and let her call me? You know? And so, and then the third year I went, oh my God. And the fourth year, and then the fifth, this is the fifth year, I have not heard from her. And I feel like I would know if she had died. Because, I think as a mother, I'm connected with her and I don't feel she's off the planet. And I don't really even feel she's in trouble, But I did have a friend who got even more panicky than I did. And so Debbie she's got some CIA background, and she actually started a series of trying to find her. And I said, well, if you do, great, let me know where she is. And her trail ended in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. They had just rented a house, and she was there and disappeared again. So that gave me a little bit of a clue that something happened. I will not know what until I see her again in this kingdom or the next. But I cannot. So the choice is this. I choose to get on with my life. It's always going to be a point of suffering that my daughter has disappeared. And I don't know where she is. And I even said, this is going to sound horrible, maybe to some of you, but this is reality. It would be better if she were dead, because at least if she were dead, I could go to a goddamn gravestone and say, there's my kid. Does that make sense? And I can't even do that. So I had to let that go, because that was my ultimate point of darkness. And I realized, oh, there it is. That's the big darkness that came up and challenged me and said, why the hell are you still so spiritual? Your kid's gone. Just go crazy. Start drinking and drugging again. There's nothing in me that can do that because I am confirmed in my path. And that happened about 15 years sober. So I'm 43 years sober, and I'm a spiritual being having human experiences over and over and over. And struggling to get to the bathroom because my knee is tweaked now. Please have compassion for me. Oh, to be human. And I really wanted to thank you guys. I so appreciate, we have been talking about this. Andy Mack, again, introduced me to, he said, I found Rolling Thunder's daughter. And I'm going, oh my God, really? Because I had been talking to Andy Mack. He's a spiritual being from Chicago. He's a black guy, and he's a musician. And he got some kind of Facebook thing. I'm on Facebook. So if you go over and grab Grace Gray Medicine or whatever, you'll see all my medicine stuff and my journey, me in full regala and all that stuff. And I was one of the things, it's 8:00. One of the things I wanted to sort of end with is this. When we were right after all of these medicine people came in, including Rolling Thunder, when they all came in and they educated us and nudged us towards our light and love space, because they knew what I am now talking about, and they knew we were lost and confused and angry and drinking and drugging and whatever. And they came in and they freed us of that. But the only reason, the one thing they left us with was, it's up to you to choose that path. And if you choose that path, stay on it. Because very few people stay on a path like this. Very few. You get discouraged, and you start disconnecting. Connection is protection. Don't ever disconnect from the great mystery power. Don't ever disconnect from the light and the love in you. Don't ever disconnect from the darkness in you, which is a sacred tool to drive you closer and closer to your spiritual truth. And after those medicine people left, then we found out that the Hopi people in Hopeville, the old village, a big snowstorm came and they were snowed in and they were starving. Their sheep were starving. Everything was. So a bunch of us in Van Nuys, and we had money and property and prestige and all that. And we got together and we were able to hire 2 helicopters that went up there and dropped hay, food, and there was only about 7 or 8 of us. There weren't that many, but we got some money together and we, and we did that. And as a result, Morning Star, I don't know if anybody knows Morning Star, Hope Morning Star, she came down to us in Van Nuys. She came to my home in Van Nuys. I'm going, oh, hello. I didn't know who she was. She doesn't really look native either. She looks very white. She's not, she presents kind of like I do. And she said, we're inviting you to come up and be honored. We're going to do a corn ceremony for you. And 7 of us were honored to go up to Old Hopeville. And you don't just drive up there. Like, I'm going to drive to Hopeville now and get blessed by the Hopi people, and that'll be cool. Right? You get to an end of a road system, and then it's like horseback, walking, jeep. And 2 jeeps came down and took us up windy way. Anyway, and as a result, I was taken to the Hopi Prophecy Rock. We were all taken to the Hopi Prophecy Rock. And there's corn. You put your hand through the rock and you pick up corn. And you put it on yourself, and then you're blessed, and you can go through, you can go around the rock. And that is where, by the way, that's on the 4th mesa. There's a 3rd mesa that the government knows about. There's a 4th mesa where these people show up on a regular basis to tell the Hopis what to do so that we can turn this world around. It's called the Hopi Prophecy. And please, you probably heard it. And we sat for 2 days listening to the Hopi Prophecy in the Hopi language. And then we were blessed, and we were told, you go down and share this now. And I was invited to Europe to go share this. And I ended up in Norway, Sweden, Finland, Russia. I ended up with the Sami people in Russia, or in Norway. I don't know if anybody can see this poster in back of me. It's that one, and there's a Sami woman, me and a Sami woman standing. Oh. And we were, so I was blessed to be able to go and share a peace message. And I was in Europe, and then I studied homeopathic medicine there and got certified in that. And then we were, I was sponsored by the Red Cross to to help with alcohol and drug addiction problems with indigenous people there. So I was doing, that was part of my path. And I was sharing the Hopi prophecy, and it was totally, just got on one plane, got off a train, got in a car, went on a boat, and just went all over the place and did what I was told to do. And I did. And it was just, what a blessing. Anyway.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful.
So that's me. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I could correlate with some of your stories, you know, especially with your daughter, because I had the same sort of experience like you did, but my son left, and he was actually 16 years old, and he got on the school bus. This was when I lived in New Mexico, and it took an hour for them to get to school and back because they had to ride the school bus. Well, he got on the school bus and never come home. And when I called the police and everything, because of the age, they consider children at the age of 17 to be able to be on their own and stuff. So they wouldn't even look for my son. So I didn't get to, I didn't know where my son was for 3 years. So I understand exactly what you're going through, because I'd lay in bed many nights going, is he dead? Is he on the side of the road? Did somebody hurt him? But I could feel in my spirit that he was okay.
Yeah.
But it was still not knowing. And it did make me angry, because like you said, it is better if you could go, like if there was a headstone, you could go and talk to the person. It would make you feel better. But I did actually find my son, and we did talk. He never told me really why he did that, but Spirit told me that was just his journey. That's how I learned to accept it. It was his journey and his path. Even though I was his mother, he had to come through me to do his job, his path, or whatever he was supposed to do for Creator. And when I realized that within myself, that's what helped me heal that part of my own darkness that was beating me up. It really didn't have anything to do with my son. It had to do with how I was experiencing it within myself. So yeah, I thought that was really great. We're going to take some questions, because we have until 10:30, so there might be some other people on here that would like to ask Grace questions.
No, I just said, okay, I'm just gonna tell this, and then I'm done when I'm done.
It was beautiful.
And good way, okay, I'm done now. It's like, okay, no, we could be here for 3 days, going on and on, or just being quiet and passing a feather around.
Yes.
3 days later, say something. That's what I'm used to. So it's like, okay.
I think it's beautiful, and I thank you so much for being able to do this with us, because we've been talking about it for over a year.
Oh God.
About doing this. So,
years at least.
So now we're here.
Thank goodness for Zoom, huh? Because what a blessing this is, right?
Yes, and it doesn't. Today doesn't mean you can come back on the show another day and talk about other things too, if you would like. We would love to have you.
I certainly will. For me, it's 7:00 Pacific time, which is early enough. And then the last Sunday of this month, I'm doing an AA speaker thing at 6:00 in the morning. So
you had to rise and shine early.
So it's like, okay.
Yes. I'm going to keep you in prayers. Does anybody have any questions that you'd like to ask Grace? All right, Redbird.
Yeah, go ahead.
Grace, I'd like to thank you for coming and sharing with us today. I wanted to ask you, there was something you said that was, you have a Facebook page, and you had lots of healing things on that, and can I come visit you? Send you a friend request? What
Yeah,
is the name of your page?
do a friend request, I guess, and it's let's see, I'm known over there as, well, I wrote a book called Negotiating Shadows, which was published in England, and it's a worldwide book on this very subject. And it's the story of my life and whatnot, and it's the story of AA in my life. And I've mentioned the medicine thing. Let's see, over there, Grace E. Reed, I think is the best way. Grace E.
Yeah, I think it's Grace Eagle Reed is how you have it.
And the Eagle Reed is pushed together because it's, by the way, my adopted grandfather, Wallace Blackout, said you can choose Eagle if you want to be Grace Growing Medicine Eagle, and then Reed, or do you want, so, and I consulted with other people that are truly high-end medicine people. You've probably seen them, or some of you may be there. And I thought the eagle, the Native American nations are, the Native nations are not the only one that have an eagle as a symbol of the high flight, and because the condor flies even higher in Mexico. So, but, and I went, I don't, Grace Growing Medicine is my name. Eagle Reed is the eagle that brings the reed. So the eagle brought the reed, and I am a hollow reed, tweeting out a message to you. So that's how that is. But it's Grace E. Reed, and so you'll find me on Facebook. And
Well,
just
thank you.
but let me know, because let me know. Just put Medicine Talk or something as your name, because if you just give a name, I won't know who. Do you realize how many Leos there are, or how many? I even found another Shahawin.
Did you really? Now that's interesting.
Well, people pick up on names, I guess, and I'm known in the AA circles, Team Yoda.
Okay.
That's a
Well,
good name.
But put Medicine Talk, or put Shahawin, put her name, and then I will just friend everybody, and you can come on over, But
okay. Yeah, we share a lot of common ground. I have 28 years sobriety,
cool.
and with AA and Wellbriety, and lots of counseling and professional work, and being here. So I am so grateful for you coming today. I am really blessed to be part of Shahawin's group.
Yeah.
It is, a miracle that, I kind of dreamed of. So I'm very, very grateful you came, and thank you so much.
Well, I was very honored to be here, and it was just nice. Finally, I got a message, I don't know, not too long ago. I'm up and running, she said, and she emailed me on Gmail, and I went, oh my God, finally it's happening. She worked hard to get this going, right? So it's good to be
I
part.
did. I went through. I went through a lot of difficulties to get this thing up and
I
running.
remember we would talk on the phone about that. I said, one day it will happen. If it's meant to be, it will happen, and it's meant to be. And we're part of the peace circle now that's turning Mother Earth from suffering to, because see, the next pandemic is going to be kindness, love, and light. That's going to be the next pandemic. But just like any good addict, you got to bottom out first. And this whole, all the greed, and all humans that are affected are bottoming out now. And we who have already bottomed out and we know the path to freedom, you're on. There's not a day you shouldn't be teaching, sharing. It's not teaching so much, it's sharing. We're on. This is our task. share with everybody kindness, love, and light. And I found this way to do it, with this little spirit book. I call them spirit books.
I can't wait to get mine.
I'm sending it out today or tomorrow. Yeah, it's really good. And I will come back, of course, when I can. And I'm in a lot of pain at night. So when I get up in the morning, I'm not too, I could be,
Motivated. Yeah.
well, what do you want? I haven't had my tea yet.
Yeah. I think we all go through that. And that's quite all right. But I'm going to be sending lots of prayers for you too, so that you won't wake up as in so much pain. But that's a part of us being in this human body, and that's one of the things too that I'm realizing really since I had my heart attack. When I had my heart attack, it scared me very, very badly. But once I got through the fear part of it, I realized that, we are in a human body, so we better take care of it because it can't break down on us. And whichever part breaks down, you're going to have to, well, not, you're going to have to, I need to stop saying it like that. Acceptance of how your body is will not prevent you from doing what spirit wants you to do.
Yeah.
So
I
just
am
keep
not
on.
I'm not my human body.
Yes. Yes.
I go look in the mirror and I'll say, I'm looking at Facebook now or the Zoom, and I'm looking at myself. I'm looking at all you people, which is it's pretty interesting. We're like the Brady Bunch and a bunch
Yes.
of right, but it's like I come on here and I'm happy being, and I was asked to share a very, very sacred, and that song, by the way, is very spiritual. Needless to say.
I think that song's beautiful, and I was going to ask you when we close out today.
Yes.
Would you like to do that song again? Because
Yes.
I thought it was beautiful.
It's a tail end of that one that I'll close out today with. Absolutely.
That would be awesome.
To be here with all of you, and I will come on again, and but it would be interesting to know what paths you guys are on and what you're doing. What are all you guys doing?
Y'all tell her what y'all are doing. Okay, Robbie, go ahead.
New self-love. There you are.
Hi, Grace. It's Rodney, actually. And thank you very much for your message. I have a question. I work in harm reduction. I work at an overdose prevention site.
Yeah.
I actually oversee people using heroin and all sorts of drugs.
Yeah.
And I recover them if they overdose. And what I'm wondering is this the darkness that is trying to awaken them spiritually? Like, are they having to go through this because of something in their life? Like, what I often believe is many of these people are like earth angels that are being kept subdued because they have a mission to do, but if they're intoxicated, they can't do that mission. So is it something to do with they're needing to be taught to embrace the darkness, to bring in a higher state of light through living through this darkness? Because another thing I say is once you overcome this addiction, then you can teach and help others overcome this addiction. So is there any, because I like tonight I go and work and I watch people inject and smoke and do all of that. So is there any little snippets of advice that you can give me that can help them to understand what they're going through?
Well, as a person that went through it and I did the ultimate, I literally put a gun to my head and pulled the trigger. The thing didn't go off. And I was drinking wild turkey whiskey. Somebody gave me a beer and I went, yuck, what the hell's this? If it was brown and strong, I drank it. And I did all kinds of drugs and dropped acid. We did, 60s, come on already.
Yeah, 60s.
And so what I know from just my own experiences, I was seeking God in the bottle. See, if I'm in enough pain from not, I didn't know there was another path out. which is what your job is when you show up as an addiction counselor. And that's what I did too in Fairbanks. You just tell your story, and then they get, oh, there's another path out. I was taking this path because if I'm going to be in pain, if I'm going to have a really bad childhood, or I had a horrible childhood, my mother, bless her heart, was driven crazy by society because they were in poverty. My father and mother did everything in the world to stay together and raise my two brothers and me, and just horrible poverty, and suffered, and they didn't get any help because society doesn't choose to help people like that, especially in the 30s and 40s. So my mother over time just went crazy, and she tried to kill my father by slamming him over the head with a big wrought iron skillet. It's a wonder she didn't kill him. And then she grabbed us three kids and took us out. This was in rural Ohio. She took us out in the country. It was cold, and she threw us out of the car and left us on the side of the road and took off. That was my childhood. Now, you don't think that I'm just gonna, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna become 16 and go, oh, my mother dumped me on the side of the road. It's okay. Right?
Right.
My mother hated, hate. So much hate in me. And a lot of these people, that's what's going on. They have been through something that has gotten them to resentment. Resentment is worse than hate, because at least hate is an anger that is out there. But resentment is an internal hate, an internal anger. And that's the one that will kill you if you're an addict. And, that's pretty much said in the AA stuff. And resentment is the number one offender. So they are people that are in ultimate tragic expression of unmet needs, ultimate suffering, and they're looking for a path out. Well, they found it. Heck, when I was fixing and drinking and drugging and it was working, what do I need? I found God in the bottle, in the needle. I mean, I found all that. I am still, and I say it like this, I'm 43 years sober and I'm still an addict, I'm still an alcoholic, and I still need a fix. I still need a fix. This light and love path better be my fix. That's what I would be telling them. There's a light and love path. You might want to, all you can do is present that. It's up to them to take it. And otherwise, that fix is gonna stop, because when that fix decided to stop working, I was in the ultimate dark pit I was in tragic expression of the unmet need of being a suffering human being without a fix. Because no human being is going to go through any kind of suffering and not want some way to fix it. Thank God for Tylenol. And CBD, I do CBD, but of course not the THC part of it. But here's the deal, so that's all that's going on with these addicts. They have found a fix, and they're just staying with their fix until they're convinced that that's, thank God, it probably saved their lives. I know it saved not only my life when it was working, but it saved other people's lives, because I was so damn pissed and angry at the world and of God. And Jehovah's Witnesses came to me, if there are any here, bless you, but Jehovah's Witnesses came to me once in Van Nuys when I was drinking and drugging, and they came to the door and knock, 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 do you know, and something about bringing literature, and do you know you're a holy being, and Jesus loves you and all that. And I opened the door, and I was pretty drunk. I was like drunk all the time. There was never a time I was not drunk. That was, see, that was my fix. And it was working. That's the whole point. And I was starting to bottom out because that, as we know, as fellow addicts, that stops working. And then if they haven't found somebody like you that's helping them, or when I was helping, I don't do counseling anymore, at least in a center. If they don't find us, see, that's why we have to go and show up wherever your arena is. Go show up, because there's a lot of people out there that are suffering and bottoming out. And if you don't show them, there's another path. There's a spiritual path out of this thing. If you don't show them that, then they're going to die that way. So they just need a fix. And you know, as an addict, alcoholic, I still need a fix. It better be light and love, because if I ever disconnect, and one of the key words is connection is protection. And if I disconnect from this, guess what fix I'm going to go to? I will die. I would die in darkness. I'm so aware of that. And I'm not going white knuckle, oh my God, I'm going to die in darkness. I just go, oh, I know where I could go. I'm at a point of choice all the time. We all are. We're at a point of choice. Because you never know what's going to really piss you off and get you into that hate zone. We've all struggled with that. We've all struggled with that. There are times when something will come up, and I want to say, it's very deeply buried in me right at this point into the love and light field, but the energy field of love and light, there's nothing in me that is even thinking about hating anything or anybody, but I know it's there, and we never know what's going to trigger that. All I have to do is stop showing up, stop going to meetings, stop sponsoring people, stop doing the work that I do. I'm on 3 boards here. I'm a board member of 3 different organizations here in Portland, Oregon. And so we're almost an advisor for city and state government on 3 different boards to set policy for the city of Portland and the state of Oregon. So, this is what I tell them. I don't tell them I'm an alcoholic addict, but I tell them the same thing that I'm telling you. People are suffering. Stop forming committees to study the suffering. Please, let's not have any more committees that study the suffering. Let's just understand that I can be instrumental in pointing them to a path out of there, and just be honest and say, this is not the right, this is a path. This is the false path. It's the false prophet, if you will, false path. You're in a false, you think this is your fix, but this is where it's going to end. And I find being honest with people that are addicts particularly, and I say, I'm tough love, and I say, well, if you choose to drink and drug and you're truly an addict, you're going to die this way. Would you like another way out? And that would be what I would be saying to them. Because that's the truth.
That is really, really, really good. And we're almost out of time, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut this off so you can do your song.
Anybody? So thank you so much.
Rodney, how much more time do we have that we can stay on here before it cuts us off?
We're unlimited time, but we've scheduled an hour and a half, which is over in 1 minute, but we can go for another 4 hours if you want it.
Oh, okay. Well, let's let Grace talk to everybody. Let everybody talk, or anybody that wants to talk and share a little bit. Let's go another 30 minutes and see if we get everybody that wants to talk, and then we'll do the song. How does that? Is that okay with you, Grace?
Oh, I'm up now, so.
All right, then.
Cheryl said, we need to have your book. We need to have you back. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. I mean, well, I'll just show up where I'm invited. I'll just come on and hi, I'm here. But addicts are you can't addicts, alcoholics, addicts are very special people. We are bodily and mentally different. We're risk takers. I love alcoholics and addicts. We're risk takers, we're shakers, we're bakers, we're shaker uppers. They are, oh, what talent when they get free of the false path. Just compare. When that was working for me, this is what I would say. When that was working for me, I didn't need to know. I didn't need to hear somebody like me in my face. I didn't need to hear some, Wayne Dryer or all these really cool people that I met that were spiritual people that were yammering on about light and love like I am. I didn't need them in my face going, "Oh, there's a path out, light and love." I'm good. This is working. I'm good. What are you talking about? Here, you take this. This is good stuff. And you know, but when it stopped working, and you never know when that's going to happen, and that's the point. It would be boom. It was boom. It went like that. It stopped working very suddenly, and I went, "Oh my God, what's going on?" I am starting. I started to sink into the darkness, and I was scared out of my mind. It's the worst terror I've ever had. Is my God left me? My God left me. That God in the bottle left me.
I have a question. Um, in the beginning, you said that you have to honor your darkness, honor the darkness in you. How do you go about honoring? Is it just acknowledging that it's there, that it's part of us, and that that's our work here to do, is to overcome that? How do we honor the darkness and yet grow into the light and love?
Well, acknowledging the fact that I think Rumi said it first, but Leonard Cohen, incredible poet, and I miss him so much. He stated it in one of his songs. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And so you see, without those cracks, the darkness cracks us. It tricks us. It cracks us. That's why people turn to drugs and alcohol and sex and food and whatever the heck. Everybody's obsessed with something. The Great Bake Off show, I'm going to be the best baker in the world and screw you, stuff like that. you know, it just, but the deal is we are born spiritual beings. We go back to this, you think of yourself as humans searching for a spiritual awakening when in fact you are spiritual beings. We are born spiritual beings, attempting to cope with a human awakening. And if you think of it that way, what human awakening is your challenge? Look at yourself and say, what human awakening is my challenge? What is challenging me to be something other than light and love? And then you deal with those character defects or sins or whatever you want to put it that way, character defects, and you say, oh, I have a tendency to be too critical. I have a tendency to be too judgmental. I have a tendency to be whatever. Again, excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, foolish decisions. Where am I on that? The 7 deadly sins, that's another one you can look at. But see, the deal is we're all flawed on something, but the darkness is a gift and it cracks us. It says you're not good enough. Well, that's a crack. You're never going to succeed. That's a crack. The person you loved, you thought you loved, and then they left you. That's a crack. I hate that person. They left me. How dare they leave me? Whatever. but find it in yourself. And get out of trying to fix other people, because you can't. Because if I reach out and I try to fix other people, like, oh, all of you people, I've seen people do this, and boy, you don't call yourself a medicine person and then do this. No, I'm here to educate you, and to, Rolling Thunder really pounded on this one. I'm here to educate you, and I'm special, and I'm spiritual, and I've seen incredible things happen, like just incredible things. And I went to the fourth Mason, saw spirit guides coming and talking. That makes me pretty special. And of course you're not, because you haven't done that. So that's top down. Be very frickin' careful of that crap. And don't ever get in anybody's face and say, you know anything about them. Don't get into a movement where you're saying to yourself, I am a spiritual being, therefore I'm here to share, teach. I'm here to teach you how to be spiritual. That's top down. Very dangerous, dark thinking. It's very dangerous. It's the tricky crap that darkness, see, that's part of darkness that will come and it will play with you. Darkness is only the absence of light. That's all it is. It's just only the absence of light. The only person I can fix is me. And then when I get fixed, and I'm kind of fixed now, I got a long way to go. We just keep going. We go further and further into the light. We die from here, wherever we are in the light. And then we get into the next room or the next kingdom. And then we learn what we have to learn there. And then we go into the next kingdom, we learn and the ultimate trip is to enter the ultimate light force. And of course, and then we get sent back here with a holy book and you kill us. So that's the way it is. So connection is protection, and darkness is only the absence of light. And there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And it's up to you as a counselor to crack your group. It's up to you to crack yourself first and say, oh, there's some light streaming in here. Oh, ouch, that hurt, right? When you had your heart attack, you got cracked.
Oh, yes. I tell everybody, well, the ones that are real close to me knew that I had a bowling ball, and I could feel it. It was in the pit of my stomach like a bowling ball. It was hard as a rock. And I kept telling everybody it's fixing to crack open. I could feel it cracking. And it did, it cracked open, but when it cracked open, a lot of rage, a lot of anger, all of this stuff started pouring out. And I was like, whoo, but I do tell everybody,
Yay.
as a teacher of teaching this, I'm not no better than anybody else. I'm going through the same stuff everybody else is going through, as I'm showing or trying to show y'all how to do it too, because I feel like it's so important. I'm not no better than anybody. I'm just like you. And that's where you have to bring being humble into it and understand. I call that being the hollow bone. I'm trying to be a hollow bone for spirit to come through and work to help guide other people to a more peaceful place within their heart that they can work from. Because guess what? You're gonna, like I truly believe, you will have to go through these dark moments, these emotions, until the day you take your last breath.
Well, and in the next kingdom too. So, we're going to be challenged. We're going to be challenged, until we reach the ultimate light. And then God is an unknowable essence. It's about an energy. The word God, which everybody knows, whatever, there's a name for it in every tribe and band and whatever, but great mystery power is the ultimate force, the ultimate energy force. And even it has challenges.
Well, I told,
Challenges. So we're all,
yeah,
there's a mystery to all of this thing called spirituality. And also what I would recommend, and this is just an observation, don't ever say you're teaching anybody, say you're sharing.
that's good. I will start doing that. Thank you.
Word.
Yes, because
I didn't come out here to teach you anything, because it's a top-down word. And that's one of those tricky little, that's an ego thing, and we don't even know we're in it.
yes. So thank you. Thank you. I will start doing that. But
Yeah,
you're so correct, because
I'm hearing some thunder outside my window right now. But that's one of those tricky little things. We don't, spiritual beings, we are, once we become, once the light gets in and we're cracked, and then we make the choice to just carry on though we're cracked or not, and then we find ourselves, there's a freedom path, and we're on that freedom path, and there's a constant daily struggle to stay there. And then when you finally get a little bit